the exception of AJ, than what Paige did. I mean, Paige came in and did something nobody was able to do for over 1 year, almost 1 year, and that was defeat AJ in under 5 minutes for the WWE Divas Championship, and they were kind of jockeying back and forth, exchanging the championship between one another, but despite exchanging the championship, I mean, Paige went on to become, a two-time WWE Divas Champion, was never given the opportunity thereafter to become a three-time champion, and I think she's more than deserving of being given that opportunity because she is getting a lot of experience from some of the older divas who have been there longer than people like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and the Bella Twins. It's amazing just how far Paige has come, learning her craft from people like the Bella Twins who have been there for forever, and the Bella Twins are definitely benefiting these newer divas like Sasha Banks and Charlotte all the time, which I hope they continue doing up until the time that they leave. And here's the thing, if it's supposed to be about creating divas of the future, let's start creating divas of the future and let's get the most out of people like Paige, Sasha Banks, Charlotte. So many people deserve opportunities. One diva that I've been really high on over the last couple of months has been Summer Rae. I've been posting video blog after video blog on my channel at Jonathan Clarke 22, somewhat of endorsing Summer Rae, getting behind the wheel of endorsement for her because I think an opportunity for her is really deserved because, I mean, the work ethic that Summer Rae has exemplified has been really overwhelming, really amazing to me, and it's beyond me why the only thing WWE had creatively for her was to either be the Fandango girl and be in a feud with Fandango or just being a put-over girl for people who are getting pushes in the Divas division. I mean, we're seeing her on episodes of main events. She's never winning matches, and I think that WWE should go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt and get behind the wheel of endorsement for her because she has a bright future in the WWE. Even if many of you probably don't think that Summer Rae has as bright of a future like someone like Paige does, I think she does, and I think it's only a matter of time before more people realize the potential that goes with a character like Summer Rae and the potential that could go with characters like Ava Marie if ever given the opportunity to actually be on WWE television as opposed to a reality show, which is getting ratings, but the ratings aren't as high enough. Even though WWE puts it over for being a highly rated television show, I don't think Total Divas is as highly rated as what WWE is putting it over for because we have more reality shows out there on the E! Network like Keeping Up the Kardashians that are E's moneymaker, and as long as those shows are E's moneymaker, is Total Divas really producing the ratings that WWE and the E! Network want to see or have the show in the future for the show. They are producing season after season, but because of this, what we're seeing are divas being turned into reality stars more so than wrestlers, and they're trying to separate wrestling from reality television with all the women on NXT finally getting calls up to WWE like Sasha Banks. I appreciate that, but I think way more emphasis should be on the Divas division and the actual wrestling aspect and the product of wrestling more so than being a reality star. I appreciate the diversity and the expansion of the Divas division, but really, I mean, if it's not reality television, it's movie roles for people like Summer Rae, and I don't really know if movie roles are what they're quite ready for. I think they need to wrestle more, and they need more exposure in the way of wrestling to showcase their talent more so than being a movie star. And I know that being a movie star is a way of showcasing your talent in the way of Summer Rae, and maybe WWE feel that she fits the bill and the look more of a movie star because of her role in the Marine 4 with Mike Mizanin. But here's the issue I have with that. The showcasing of the talent should be on the wrestling, especially with how it's a wrestling promotion, and that's what the focal point and the backbone of the wrestling promotion is supposed to be, the actual wrestling aspect of it, not what goes on outside of it in the way of entertainment for TV and movies and reality television. I hate that, how WWE are trying to expand. I appreciate it, but there's expansion way too much going on in the WWE when we should be focusing on creating stars. It's more on those stars are in people like Paige, Summer Rae, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, who's another great talent who deserves a call-up on WWE. Stephanie really needs to put emphasis on the newer crop of WWE divas from NXT and needs to create storylines more so than romantic storylines involving wrestlers and divas like she's done so many times over the years. Let's get something far more creative going on in the Divas division. When AJ was Divas champion, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I endorsed her because it was the more unpredictable times for the Divas division when AJ was champion because she had this switch that could be flipped at any given moment. Nobody knew what she was going to do at any given moment. That light could come on in her brain, and she was a genius at cutting promos. She was not only the most unpredictable diva, but she was the most unpredictable character in the WWE period. And I'm talking about wrestlers and divas in general. Out of everybody, the entire roster, she was by far one of the more unpredictable divas because nobody knew what she was going to do. She could do anything at any given moment, no matter if she was a wrestler, a manager, a general manager. She was just someone who was very unpredictable. And I see the same kind of thing applying to someone like Paige as the anti-diva. If Paige turns the heel card anytime soon in her career, I mean as a heel, as the anti-diva, she could be promoted as one of the far more effective Divas champions of the next 10 years because she's someone who you can easily get 10 years out of. And it's very rarely you see someone get 10 years out of a WWE Diva for any wrestling promotion or just women's wrestler in general. But I think that more women are coming into the business that you can easily get 10 years out of in the way of someone like Paige if you give them an opportunity and you book them against people they can work with and you can book them more effectively than what they've been booked, because I think that someone like Paige deserves something more than being put over as someone who's just putting over talents who are in line for pushes at championships when she herself should be in line for a push at the championship. Do I think that someone like Summer Rae should be in line for a push for the championship along with so many other countless divas in the division? Yes, I do. I think that someone like Summer Rae is deserving of that because of the work ethic. I think someone like Paige is worth that because of the work ethic they have exemplified. And it's all because they want to be there. And that's what's funny about the wrestling business. The WWE loves to play favorites with either wrestlers or divas, and I hate how they love to play favorites because I don't think it should come down to who your favorites are between Vince McMahon, Triple H, John Laurinaitis, whoever's on the board. I don't think it should come down to playing favorites. I think it should come down to work ethic and who really wants to be there. And I think someone like Summer Rae is very appreciative of being there. She wants to be there, just as Paige is very appreciative of the fan reaction she gets, especially in the United Kingdom, and she really wants to be there. So the divas who want to be there should be the ones in line for pushes, not the divas who are there for 5, 6, 7 years, have done it all in the way of the Bella Twins. I think it's time for them to sit on the back burner and give the spotlight to people who deserve it, not focus on the Bella Twins being reality stars. Let's not focus on other divas being turned into reality stars. Let's focus on the wrestling aspect. Let's see what someone like Sasha Banks, the boss, can bring to WWE, carrying it over from NXT and what we were introduced to as her being the NXT Women's Champion. Let's see what she can do. Let's see what countless other divas who will get opportunities and call-ups over the next 6 months will do. And what it will come down to is who wants to be there the most and who wants to get the most out of their career. And I think someone like Paige is someone who is going to be there for the long haul, so to say, in WWE, and someone who you can easily get 10 years out of. If there was a diva you can get 10 years out of, let Paige be the first one to get 10 years out of. Let me know that Paige is the first one you can easily get 10 years out of the next decade, along with countless others, because we need to be producing women that are going to be there for the long haul, not just 5 or 6 years. You know, women have come and gone in wrestling for years, and that's one of the biggest issues I have with women's wrestling. We see so many come and go all the time. It seems like a brief moment they are there and then they're gone. 1 minute they're here and they're gone the next. They're either gone onto reality television or they're gone onto some other wrestling promotion outside of the WWE. And really, what are women like Terrence Renell getting out of TNA wrestling? You know, I put over Terrence Renell for being TNA Knockouts champion because she didn't get an opportunity to be Divas champion when the Divas championship was incepted. Kelly got that opportunity ever before Terrence Renell did. And yes, Terrence Renell went on to benefit as the TNA Knockouts champion, but is she a far more effective champion than someone like Nikki Bella? I really don't know. She's turning heads in TNA wrestling like people like Gail Kim are all the time in Havoc. But the thing is, you know, women in wrestling are never given the benefit of the doubt enough. They're never given enough exposure. Longer matches are definitely needed. More than one women's match on a 3-hour show would definitely get the division over, and it's really unacceptable when you see a 5-minute match on a 3-hour show between women. I mean, I really appreciated how they broke it up. The best thing about the reality show and what's going on within the division is Total Divas has one match every week on Raw, and the division has one match every week on Raw. So you had up to 2 or 3 women's matches a week on Monday Night Raw for a 3-hour show, and that could still be going on. And I don't know why they killed the emphasis on it. Maybe because we're just going from season to season with Total Divas. I really don't have an answer for that, but I hope they keep going back to that, especially when season 4 of Total Divas really gets off the ground, which recently it did, with Ava Marie having a lot of emphasis on her character. And I think that season 4 is going to be a big season with people like Paige coming in and out all the time and still wrestling on the product to promote the show and what's going on within the division. But again, you know, more emphasis needs to be on what's going on within the division. Now, I was a big fan of Paige when she first came in, was a big fan of her winning the championship in her first match, like people like Gail Kim had done all the time. Now, I don't think that Paige is nowhere near the credibility of a Trish Stratus or many of the divas of the past, but the thing is, she can get there because she seems to want the most out of her career, and she seems to want it more than probably anyone on the Divas roster right now. She has this issue going on with the Bella Twins. We'll find out where that goes leading into SummerSlam and the upcoming months as we head into the fall of the year past the halfway point of 2015. July, of course, big month for Total Divas. Brand new season for that. When it gets off the ground, it's going to be really interesting, and I think it's going to be one of the more unpredictable seasons of the show. So we have more going on creatively for the Divas division than what we probably have had for the last 6 months or at least the last year, which says a lot about the Divas division because you can get a lot out of the division that has so much unpredictability that's going on for it now, especially with the debut of Sasha Banks, who's really going to shake things up for the better in the Divas division. Big move for WWE bringing Sasha Banks over from NXT, and I think a lot is going to come from people like Sasha Banks and many other Divas we're going to see show up on the product from NXT. NXT has been really hot over the last couple of months. You take, for instance, Kevin Owens finally dropping the NXT Championship and everything going on with new stars being created all the time on NXT. If you're not a subscriber to the network, definitely I recommend the network. If I recommended it for one program, it definitely would have to be NXT because NXT is an awesome show and a true exemplification of what the future really has in store for us as wrestling fans. You know, John Cena said something really interesting in a promo a couple of weeks ago when he said the future is not tomorrow, the future is now. And we have to give emphasis on the future and the stars who are going to be a part of that future because people like John Cena and Randy Orton are not going to be around all the time. And I don't think truer words have ever been spoken by anybody involved with the wrestling business. And I think Dusty Rhodes would agree with us all when we say the future is now and not tomorrow. And that's why emphasis needs to be on the future because the future is now. And people like Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and all the divas who are part of the division making it up are a part of that future, like it or not. And that's what we have to come to terms with. And I have had a hard time dealing with how the future is now and who's a part of this future because I didn't think the future was going to look like this 10 years ago. And if you were to tell me 10 years ago the future would look like this with people like Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt at the forefront carrying the torch into the new generation of wrestling, my response to you would have been you're fucking crazy because there's no way people like Bray Wyatt and Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. are going to get over representing their father's legacies, but they are getting over, and this is what the future has in store for us as wrestling fans, like it or not. And I'm sure a lot of people out there feel the same way that I do and probably don't want to change with the times, but I guess Vince McMahon